friends, it's Emily from burlapkitchen.com, and today we're going to make something really cute with one of the pumpkins from Dollar Tree. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take this gather sign off. If you heat it up a little bit and then use a knife to get under there, it'll pop right off. Usually they do without that, but this one was really stuck on there pretty good. And I also took the little string out. I went over it with a little bit of the sanding block, and then I cut the top of the pumpkin stem off. Next, I'm taking the jumbo, the giant popsicle sticks, and I'm going to line them on my pumpkin. I sped this up pretty fast for you. I messed up the one little piece there. You see I took it off there. You want the popsicle sticks to be all lined up on the bottom, so none of the blue is showing on the bottom. At the top, where you see like that little bit of brown coming out, that's not a huge deal because we can fix that with some Spanish moss when we're finished. So once I get them all on, then I'm going to come in with my Fiskars titanium scissors and I'm going to trim this up. So a lot of you have been asking me for a link to these. I cannot find them lately, so maybe check your local hardware store and see if you can find them. So that one piece split and I just glued it back on. And I'm just going to continue going around the pumpkin here and cutting that up. That looks pretty good. So I'm going to get rid of my scrap and then I'm going to go around here with a sanding block. Next, I'm going to come in with some brown oxide paint and also a dab, just one dot of black paint. And then I'm going to put a bunch of water in here. So a lot of you were saying about the stain, and this is something that's not quite as harsh as the stain I usually use. So just mix that up good with a popsicle stick. And then we're going to come in with a baby wipe, and I always test it before I put it on my project to make sure it's the color that I want, and it was perfect. So we're just going to brush that with a baby wipe onto our project here. And this is actually a really pretty color. I have a few other ideas for some things I want to make with this. And I just went down in there. There was like a little piece of the pumpkin showing through there, so I just kind of put a whole bunch of on my baby wipe and just kind of dabbed it so it got that. So the pumpkin turned the color of the stain. That way you couldn't see it through the popsicle sticks. So now that we're done with that, I'm going to go over it one more time with the clean baby wipe, and then I'm going to give it a quick dry. And I'm going to make sure there's no glue coming up through the popsicle sticks. Then I'm going to come in with some white chalk paint and a chip brush, and I'm going to offload some paint and just dry brush over this pumpkin. So I actually thought this looked really beautiful just like this before I started sprucing it up. So there's two different ways you could do it. Since I already added all the other stuff, I thought I'd show you both ways. So I'm going to give it a quick dry here, and I'll show you here in a second what I mean. So make sure your paint is nice and dry. And then I'm going to come in with a stick from the yard that I found, and I'm just going to glue that into place. And make sure you hold it down good. Then I'm going to come in with a raffia bow, and I'm going to hot glue that on top of the stick. And this is what I was saying right here. I think it looks pretty as is, just like this. So if you're very simple like me, you might like it like that. But I'm going to actually jazz it up a little bit. So I'm going to come in. This is a little hunk of wood I found in my garage, these two pieces of wood. Give us some ideas in the comments what we could use if someone doesn't have these pieces of wood. I was thinking maybe like the bigger Jenga blocks or something like that. So we're just going to stain those with that same color of stain, but we are not going to use the white on this time. So we're just using the stain. So I'm going to glue this to the back of my pumpkin, and we're just going to make sort of like a little base. So I'm just holding that in place to get it where I want it. And then we're going to come in with some more hot glue. You want to be generous with the hot glue on this one. And then we're going to hold that down in place on top of the base there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to come in with some Spanish moss here on the top, just to hide the little pumpkin that was coming through. That little bit of blue and brown that was peeking through. So I thought it looked cute just like that, but we're gonna jazz this up, and we're gonna put some Spanish moss down on the bottom. And we're going to add some pine cones. So all I'm doing, I know it's kind of hard to see here, but I had to see what I was doing so it looked right. So all I did was I added a little bit of Spanish moss to the bottom to cover up any glue that was coming through. And then I added some pine cones. Then I have this black tag, and I'm just going to write Hello Fall on it and glue it into place. And then I'm just going to glue some more Spanish moss. Then I'm going to come in with some leaves here and just kind of randomly add them around the bottom. When I go down to my parents next time, I may see if I can find a few acorns and add some of those too. So then I'm going to hot glue a little leaf up at the top. I just wanted it to look like fall at the bottom, like, you know, like a tree when the leaves fall on the ground. So I'm just adding the rest of these leaves into place. And then that is it. You have a really cute rustic looking pumpkin from a Dollar Tree pumpkin. It turned out so cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this craft. For more fun DIYs just like this, please visit burlappkitchen.com. Thank you.